All right, good afternoon. Just a notice that this meeting is being currently recorded, so we can have for reference uses. They are posted on our website at www.ascmv.org under resources and then conversations at the center. I don't know why, but most of them show me as the beginning slide, probably because it records by who's talking, and I always talk the most all the time. So I'm sorry that you have to look at me so much on there. Just really quick to go over, we received a lot of questions, and fantastic. I love it. And I'm going to read them in the order received. So the ones I read first, of course, are the ones that I got first. For some reason, if we don't get to the rest of the questions, then we'll do those next month as the first ones. So people are trickling in. So I'll just hit approve. I'll try to keep my eye on it as we're going for that. So the first question is, it looks like Dr. Haddon's going to handle it. It says, what medical interventions are ASCMV able to provide at the time for injured animals hit by cars or injured by other trauma who come to the center? So that's the first part of that question. Dr. Haddon, the time is yours.
Okay, so what we do is we evaluate them, see what we think is going on within our ability with a physical exam. We have an injectable NSAID. It's a non-steroidal anti-inflammatory. It gets on board faster than an oral med, and we also have access to an opioid pain med. That there is limited access to that because it is a controlled substance. One of the individuals that takes call has access to it, but the other ones know that they can either call one of the other supervisors or this particular tech to come in and administer it if they deem it necessary. If it's a question at all, they call me. So we have NSAIDs and opioids, and that's about all there is out there, you know. So.
And just for clarification, Doc, those are painkillers?
Oh yes, yes. NSAIDs it's similar to ibuprofen. Opioids is similar. It's along the same lines as morphine. So I think that answers it, yes?
Yeah, so the next part of the question is, what is the protocol, and do you anticipate future changes in protocol and funding to help animals in need? So you kind of talked about the protocol in your answer. So what are some of the future funding and medical need, future changes that you see?
The only change that I anticipate would be if the other two techs that do the call, that if they choose to become youth techs, they have immediate access to the opioid. They can always call me and tell me what they have, and I can give them more. We do have steroids available as well for some traumas when we're trying to get ahead of the swelling. It just depends on the timing of when the trauma was and when the animals get here as to whether we do steroids or not. But I'm always available by phone. And so the only change that I would anticipate is if I know one of the other techs is interested in this euthanasia training, and that's what I go by as far as providing access to controlled substances. So.
Great. Let's see, we're getting a clarification.
Yes, we have every day we have a veterinary medical person that is on call. So if dispatch has their number and ACOs have their number, if they are called and they explain what's going on, they come in right then and look at the animal, evaluate it, and provide the medical care for it. So that's 24/7, 365.
Yeah, I think what everybody's doing is we're dancing around the topic of Blossom and Bark House. And just so you know, the dog was seen immediately when it came in at night. Blossom came in at night. Our tech, the animal control officer, called out our tech. Our tech responded at night and did all the things that needed to be done with the animal, gave it those pain meds, so it was comfortable. And then it was put into the computer, and those pain meds were administered on a regular basis. So there was never any, the comfort level, I should say, was satisfactory for that pup. Would we have liked to see it happen all a lot quicker as far as x-rays and getting out to rescues? Absolutely. I mean, we wish Blossom the best for that. And also we thank Diane Avery for taking that on, sure. All right, thanks, Doc. Anything else you want to add?
I don't think so.
All right, thank you. Another topic that Jean brings up is it possible to resume Pets of the Week? Posts on ASA and Facebook page. So that was our fault. What happened is we had one person doing all of it, and it was just too much with the new position they had. Holly is the one she got a new position as Spay Neuter coordinator. She was doing the radio, she was doing volunteer work, she's kind of our do-all person for it. So we split up a lot of those duties so she could focus there on her job. And in the mix of it all, it got lost. So what they're going to do is Amy Devilix is the one who does the Pet of the Week now, and she will send them to me, and I'll put them on Facebook. So we'll start doing it. As you can see, the other ones I think hit on Tuesday or Wednesday. They got put on there for this week. So thank you for bringing that up. All right, next. Is there going to be an x-ray machine at the new shelter? In the meantime, are there plans to get an x-ray machine for the existing shelter? Just curious, how much do those things cost? That was by Grace. So no, there are not plans right now to have an x-ray machine at the new shelter. And let me explain why. We want to get an x-ray machine for the current center, because the current center is going to be kind of the infirmary. The sick and the injured animals will be here at this center. The new center will be for stray intake and for adoptions for that. The x-ray machines that we've priced out for our needs are around $50,000 is the price that we have. And then not only that, but we also need to have some electrical work because that machine needs its own dedicated breaker line. So that's we priced it out, that's another $6,000 for that. So around, $56,000, $60,000. Now, there are plans to get one. If you saw our response of our need for an x-ray machine on Facebook, the ASCAV board did recognize the need for it. We have put in a grant for one. We're just waiting to hear back from that, hopefully the next couple of months. But if in case we don't get the grant, the board wanted us to put some money in the medical area for an x-ray machine. So regardless of which one we go, we are going to get an x-ray machine after July sometime. So we're excited for that. That's going to mean big things for the ASCMV and also the animals coming through. All right, this question comes from Rick Hahn. Dr. Haddon, this one's yours too. What upgrades to the existing building and what additional equipment is needed to create the high volume spay neuter center?
Okay, sorry about that. So we'll need tables, lights, more monitoring equipment, and what the nicest that will make this happen is once the new center is open and this becomes strictly medical, because we need the space to expand to more than one surgical table, a better place for prep to happen. And so it's going to be based on when we get the majority of the folks get out of this building into the new center. But I mean, basically it's going to be, there may be additional packs, there may be a larger autoclave in the works. It just kind of depends on volume that we're able to do, staffing ability, and that. So I think that's all.
Yeah, and we've also talked about, Dr. Haddon and I and some of the managers, about where are we going to, or what changes need to take place to the actual building. There's going to be some remodeling that may need to be done. I would love to see surgery happening where people can also see it. So there's that transparency. So we're talking about, like, what is right now is the Vic room, the very important cat room. In the lobby has that big, beautiful wall there of windows. So something like that. And I know Dr. Haddon says that she'd like to move surgery into that area as well. So we're all for it. So just know that we are slowly thinking through these processes of what we need, where it's going to, what's the area we can move into, where it's going to be the less amount of renovation for that. The next question is it expected the city will supply the money to do this? It's not going to be just the city, it's going to be the city and the county. We have not discussed that with them because we don't know how much it's going to be. So first we need to get a plan in place, and then get a roundabout figure and present that to them. But they are the ones who fund us, so I'm assuming between them and grants that we can get something like this going. All right, next question is still Rick. Where are you in the process of getting the new vet for the center? Has this position, or has this person been hired, and what will this person's duties be? So the veterinarian position, the new veterinarian position that we have, is not filled currently. We ran it for 2 weeks. We ran it, Doc, remind me the places where you ran it at.
I posted it on VIN, which is a Veterinary Information Network. We posted on the AVMA. We posted it on the Shelter Vet Association. And there's at least one more that I did.
Yeah, and then I posted it at the National Animal Care and Control Association job board, and also on the Animal Welfare Administrative board too. City told us that they had over 400 hits on the actual application, but 0 applicants. And that was our first. Go ahead.
When we spoke to Carolyn the other day, Bernice and I spoke with Carolyn on Tuesday. She said over 600 hits at that point.
The first one,
yes.
The first time we posted were 400, and then we had 0 applicants, so we reposted again, and that's the one where we have over 600 hits.
Oh, okay.
But still no applicants for that. We have some people local that have shown some interest. The interest is all they're really showing. Nobody is going through and filling out those applications. So if you know anybody that is interested in being a veterinarian, doing a veterinarian position with a veterinarian license, please pass that word along. And then said, what will their person's duties be? And Dr. Haddon, if you want to go into more detail on that, you can. I just know that Doc is looking for him primarily to be doing surgical items. But if you want to expound more, you can.
Okay, yeah, it's primarily they would be doing the surgery. Our plan is that we would have a veterinarian on staff 7 days a week. We would split the week up. We'd both do the 4 days. So on one day, we would have 2 of us, and they would be doing primarily the surgery, but also able to cover the medical stuff, because I want to do surgery too.
I don't know if we should let you have a blade in your hand or not.
Yeah, you do.
Yes, we do.
You've seen me in surgery.
I have seen you in surgery. You do fantastic work all the way around. Next one is from our very own Grace Ventura. Says, would you mind discussing the plan to start adoption events again? So we're excited to announce that we are going to be back at Farmers Market starting May 22nd. We needed a couple weeks to prep for that. It takes quite a bit of work on our end to get individuals there, or to get animals there. We had to have a dedicated person that knows how to work Shelter Love and handle money. We also have to have a dedicated person to be able to shuttle those animals back and forth, set it up, all that. We decided to go with Farmers Market first because of the strong volunteer group that's there with Grace, or with, oh, her name just left me.
Claire.
Claire, thank you. With Claire, fabulous job, and very dependable as well, because as we know, some volunteers say that they'll be there and they don't show up. But Claire is incredibly dependable on that. So we will start doing May 22nd, will be our first Saturday there at Farmers Market. We're excited for that. Any feedback from the attendees about that, or can offer any assistance or help of getting back into the adoption process? What about offsite events? Anybody want to say anything about that? Jean looks like she's trying to go off.
Yeah, Clint,
There
if
you go.
once you start announcing these things, we can certainly start getting the word out to people, and even do a distribution on it to let people know that volunteers are needed. And I don't know who's the person that I would coordinate with or talk to about
That's a good
on the
question.
adoption.
Michelle is raising her hand slowly.
Right, yeah. Well, right now it's me. I mean, I'm kind of coordinated with, again, our all amazing Holly, that she does everything around here. I'll be coordinating with her to send out to volunteers if needed. I do have a meeting with
Claire.
Crazy. Claire on Monday, just to get some logistics of, because I've never personally been to, I've been to the farmers market, but not to the adoption event. So I just need to get a feel of how many animals we need, how many volunteers, what my expectations are, her expectations are. And then, as we get more employees and stuff like that, maybe we can start going to other places. But right now it's just farmers.
Yeah, and
Well, you guys have my email, Clint does, and so please, when you're ready to announce with a little bit of lead time, and of course, I realize you've got your start date for Farmers Market, May 22nd, and if I've got Claire's info or whoever need a couple of emails maybe and phone numbers, I could send that out. We could see if we could certainly rally people.
sorry about
Yeah, this. So in the past, farmers never really had shelter staff there. But that is going to change this time around. So, like I said, we'll meet, get our logistics, get everything going back and forth, and you're definitely welcome to join us if you want, Jean.
Yeah,
I'd certainly like to help rally the troops anyway. I don't know about myself personally being there, but
Okay, I'll keep in touch with you.
see what I can do on my end.
Okay.
All right, thanks, Michelle. Thanks, Jean. Also on Monday or Tuesday, we have a managers meeting. Every Tuesday morning at 9 a.m., the managers get together and we discuss concerns from our different departments and also things that we've seen throughout the center, things to do. And it's a great time, a sounding board to get managers' opinions, or just a great time to have discussion. And one of those we're going to have on Tuesday, I just wrote down, is to start the volunteer program back up, possibly almost full swing, a good strong 80% or so. Have people back in walking, have some dog training opportunities. So that, Grace, that answers your question of your chat you put in. Will Clarion be available for dog walking training for new volunteers? That's all something we're going to be talking about on Tuesday, just to help get this back into the swing of things. So we're excited about that. Grace, the question to the first part of your chat is answered by some questions submitted by Kathy Stark. It says, vacant position status. So we still have quite a few vacant positions here at the ASCMV. Volunteer coordinator is one of them. We had some issues with HR, and that position, it took a little bit longer than we would have liked to get the people through, and the person we chose declined, and then the second person declined, and I believe the third person as well. No. Second person declined, and then we decided to repost because that pool is done. So that is not done, and it should be posting here pretty darn soon if it's not already on. Grant writer position, still vacant. We had two people apply. One of them did not show up for the shelter tour, which is required. And then looking at the qualifications for the other person, they were more of a business individual, didn't have any experience writing grants. So that one went back out for applicants. We have an adoption rescue coordinator. That again, HR was incredibly slow to get that information. We had some horrible communication issues between the applicant and human resources. I won't go into details, but ultimately that person decided they did not want to work for the ASCMV. So we went to the second person in there, and that individual was going to be out of the state for 2 months. And we even talked about doing, some online trainings and get them up to speed. But Liz, the other adoption coordinator or rescue coordinator, she would have rather see it go out and repost. So we decided to follow the lead of somebody. When you have somebody awesome like Liz, you have a tendency to follow her lead on that. So we put that one back out to repost. We still have our veterinarian position that is open, that went back out to repost for recruitment. We have two vet surgical assistants that are still vacant. And then office assistants, 3 full-time, 2 part-time, animal caregivers, 3 full-time, 3 part-time. And those positions are both actually posted for to be filled for applicants for that. That was done, that one. Next question is, what happens to the animals in cruelty cases held at the Courthold facility after case disposition? I do not run the case hold or the Courthold facility. I have no control over it. It's a county building, county cleans it, everything. I can tell you that at times they have brought animals here to the ASCMV from their facility to here for adoption. They've also brought them for euthanasia. So that's the only thing I could say is whatever they bring for us to do there. Is there any news on city's TNR resolution and the ordinance? Last time I looked, it wasn't on the agenda. So the assistant city manager, Eric Enriquez, promised that it would be on the May 3rd or the May 17th agenda. It was not on May 3rd, and May 17th agenda has not come out yet. So we are looking, as soon as I see something for that, I'll try to put something on Facebook for May 17th to have that on there, or to let people know that it's going to be on. And the May 17th, when I say the ordinance, what that is on May 17th is the resolution that went before in a work session, went before the went before the council. It was a resolution for TNR. And the reason why they did that is so they could weed out all the problems, because TNR is the biggest part of the new ordinance. So they figured that if we could weed out all the issues and the problems and get everybody on the same page for TNR for this resolution, then when the ordinance finally comes after all the readings and everything they have to do for a new ordinance, it'll be a lot smoother for it to go through because we've already signed a resolution, hashed out all the problems there. So the resolution should go on May 17th, not the actual ordinance. I have heard nothing about the actual ordinance going forward yet. Any feedback from the city and county on your proposed budget for next year? No, I have not heard that. Usually it's in May, so either the end of May or maybe mid or beginning of June, the city does their budget, like finalizes it. So we won't hear anything until then. I have heard good things from the city, from the budget, from the budget department, saying that in the city budget, they've allotted us the same amount that they did last year. So that's good. That's what we asked for in our budget. The increase that we did request is from county. I don't know if you remember or not, but the city ponied up about, I believe it was about $600,000 more dollars last year, and the county refused to. And so this year we asked them to up that to match it. So we'll see if they will or not. The chair, so please, if you'd like to, you can contact your county commissioners or the county commissioners and let them know your support of that increase for it. When I talked to the director of the ASCMV board, it's Commissioner Sanchez, he said he felt very comfortable requesting that amount because he feels like it, and the other commissioners do too that are on the board, feel like that it does need to be increased. So that's good news. And then the last question I have is, will anything change at the ASCMV now that the county is in turquoise? And I mean, the answer is yes. The whole meeting we've had, almost the whole meeting today, we're talking about, volunteer work, farmers market, all these things opening back up, off-sites, possibly starting here in a couple months. So things will be changing for that. However, some things may be staying the same. Remember that managers meeting I was talking about? We've discussed several times the likelihood of keeping an appointment-based. People can come in, that might change, but the appointment-based is just a phenomenal way. And also our animals' health, the herd health has been a lot better without people walking through and sticking fingers in cage after cage after cage and spreading that disease down. So some things may be staying the same, but some things also will be changing on that. So I think we have a few minutes. If anybody's interested to ask any other questions, I'd be open to that.
Clint, I wanted to ask on the TNR ordinance, there's going to be the 17th when the council meets. That'll be the first read, right, of the language. Then isn't there a second read?
No, so there's a difference between ordinance and the resolution. The resolution.
That's what I meant. I meant to say resolution. I'm sorry. So first read.
I'm not sure on that. I always thought that the resolutions were just approved. I didn't know that there had to be readings. I thought that was only reserved for ordinances, because I've never seen first and second read for other resolutions. But I believe, yeah, they're just going to approve it. And talking with some city council, they think that they have everything done. I think it's probably going to be in favor of the yeses or the yays. So that's good.
So there's a chance that the ordinance may actually go into effect this summer then, right? That'd be wonderful.
It would be wonderful. Yeah. That would be great.
Where's my raise hand button?
Kathy, go ahead.
On Jean's question, on a resolution, it doesn't need a first and second reading. On an ordinance, it needs to be publicized. Then there's a first reading, and then there's scheduled a second reading, and then there's typically a waiting period before that ordinance becomes effective. It can become effective immediately if that's the way that it's written for the city council. It can be also 60 days.
Yeah, and city animal control supervisor requested that there be some time before it goes into effect. So, so they can make some changes. And honestly, we would have to make some changes too. I mean, we're ready to go. Not that many changes need to be done, but we'll see. Now, I still believe that the resolution does not give me the authority to start doing cats in the city of Las Cruces. The resolution, all a resolution says is, hey, we support this and we're for it. So I think what that will do is allow us to start stockpiling things. It'll allow us to look forward to it, allows us to do some planning, all those things that we can do more assuredly than without it. For that. Monica asked a question in chat. Clint, what are your thoughts on the increase in dog census? Monica, you'll have to explain more. I don't know what that means. Does anybody know what that means? I mean, I know what a census is.
It might mean just the overall increase in animals, dogs coming in, but I see the same thing happening with cats.
Oh, more, okay. So coming into the center.
Yeah.
All right. So everybody has to understand that we kind of go in a cycle, right? That we have low population in the spring, and then it ramps up into the summer, and then it comes back down in the winter time and stays moderately low. So we're just seeing that increase. We did not see that much of an increase last year because we limited our impounds and our intake so much, but it has increasingly been getting higher and higher though for that. And it's a mixture of animal control, loosening that grasp. We have also loosened that. I mean, we're a little bit more apt to take animals when they come to us. Once people say, oh yeah, I've done it. You know, instead of harping on them, we usually just take them. So it's, I don't know, Michelle, what do you think?
We're still, we've tried very hard to have animals that are coming in. We're still giving them the other options, really encouraging them to either find the owner of a stray or rehome the animal of their own. But we are getting more people coming to our front door. So, especially with kittens.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, and the rumor also goes in cycles that that residents who find, typically it's a dog, are allegedly being told that animal control doesn't want to take them to the shelter because the shelter is going to euthanize them. You know, I don't know if any of those allegations are true, or if there may just be an animal control officer who doesn't want to take the time with all the calls that they get to explain to the person, you know, steps to take to try and find the owner if they can keep them without taking them to the shelter. But that seems to go in cycles, you know, they're killing all the animals.
Well, I think if anybody was actually just to look and open their eyes and look at our stats,
Right.
they'd see that that is not true. Our dogs in 2020 had a 91% live release rate for dogs. And the only reason why cats were down to I think it was 74% for cats. And that's because of the city TNR not having TNR program. So anybody would look at that, and we had a live release rating of 83.8. I mean, we're not euthanizing animals just to euthanize them. So.
Right, and that's typically what I respond back when I see a post like that. Just look at the daily stats and it'll tell you what's not happening and what is happening.
Yeah, we have no control over what animal control tells the public, and I can't tell you what they do. But I know just to clarify, we do encourage finders to find the owner, or owner releases to rehome on their own, but we never refuse animals.
I'd just like to insert that I think for education purposes, more groups that are on Facebook and are following the shelter should please share those stats, those daily reports. I know the Coalition and Humane Society share that info. So, and we comment on all the positive outcomes, because there are many. There are some stellar days of high transport, a large number of sterilization, adoptions. So I think if we could all, as a community effort, share the stats, I think that would help educate people, because a lot of people are on Facebook.
Grace asked a question in chat. What are your thoughts on Haas, Human Animal Support Services? EPAS is a pilot shelter, and I've seen a lot of negative feedback from El Paso residents. Haas is a controversial. I'm personally for it. I think there's definitely a tie between the human and the human support and the animal support areas. People that can't afford homes or domestic abuse, things like that, there is definitely an animal tie in that, and we need to do a lot better of working on those. But as far as the negative feedback, I think change is hard. Change is hard for everybody, especially for a community like El Paso and ours. Just for years and years, it's always been a, hey, we'll take it. You know, take your animals to the shelter. They'll take it. Take your animals there. And kind of wash your hands of the whole problem. And that's, El Paso's done a fantastic job. Paula Powell used to be the director there. She did an amazing job of starting new programs and getting things changed. And we're taking the same routes. We're doing, you know, we have appointments before people just bring in your animals. We now charge out people for bringing in their own animal and want to surrender it. So it's a work in progress, but change is hard, I think, for everybody, the people implementing it and the people that need to follow. Michelle?
Just back up a little bit on the, just to let you all know that we are working on other resources, more resources to give the community. My staff has reached out to Jean because she's already got something in the works. So we are working on more resources than what we already have to give the community when they do come to the shelter to either surrender or find a stray. So just know that's happening as well.
Yeah, the next one I want to get that on Tuesday I'm going to talk about is purchasing some signs, you know, like the political signs that go in the ground and they're printed on that corrugated plastic. Anyways, have something on there about I found a dog, and just have that as a resource that people can come and get, so they can put it in their yard, put a poster, put a picture of the dog on there, type of thing. So just some resources that people can have to help get the animal home where it's at. So just some things to talk about. Well, are there any other questions?
Yeah, Clint, I wanted to ask, I know with Pet of the Week, you know, you mentioned that on posting on Facebook so that we can share that. And I did see it the other day and I did share it. Are the Pet of the Week, when they're adopted, are they being shown, or could they be shown on Facebook for adoption? I realize you can't show all your adoptions, but I just think because the Pet of the Week is highlighted or showcased, if we'd be able to know the outcomes for those animals.
I agree. I think Michelle gets tired of me asking if the Pet of the Week got adopted. It would be good to know if it was. So yeah, I don't see any reason why we couldn't just do a shout out on that. All
Yeah. So,
on Facebook, it's just a quick shout to the supervisor, and they can post it. So
yeah, so do you want to know the outcome, like, yes, it got adopted, we know you want that, but what if it doesn't get adopted? Do you want that information as well?
I think we just want to do an outcome update. So if the animal leaves, how it left, I think is what we're looking at. So
Like,
we-
even if it's down the road, weeks down the road,
no, just for that week.
just for that week? Okay.
So pet a week, if it went to rescue, if it, was redeemed by owner, was picked up, all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
That sounds good.
Michelle is on it.
Good.
Monica says, thank you for conducting the foster parent parade. I think lots of animals got adopted. They did. A bunch of them did there. So that was really good. We had a lot of fun. 10.
10 adoptions that day
All
from
fosters.
yeah, all fosters.
Yeah. That's one of the better Saturdays we had. All right. Any other questions?
Is that an event you might do again? Is that something you might do again? Because
Maybe, yeah, probably, because I'm also looking, like I said, I still gotta get a meeting going and talk about it with everybody. But like with farmers market, I really want to focus more on fosters going to these offsite events, since they don't have really an outlet right now, and helps them get more animals out. So.
And that's part of changing some of our protocols and procedures, right? When we're opening stuff up and getting back to more of a normal, all that is part of it. So. All right, well, I forgot to start off with a dad joke. You know, the invite had on there that I was the king of all dad jokes. So one joke I have for you is this dog was in jail. Or do you know why the dog was in jail? Because he was living the pug life. You know, instead of the thug life, it was the pug life.
got it.
Okay, thank you, Jean. Thanks, everybody. I appreciate all you're doing. Thanks for coming to this month's conversation at the center. As soon as the recording's done, as far as processed, we'll get it posted to the website. Oh, I should say we'll send it over to the people who post it. So hopefully by next week, you'll see it on there. We enjoy these meetings, be able to get these questions and get them answered. So everybody have a safe day and a safe week. And remember, adopt, don't shop. We'll see you later.
Thank you, Clinton. I did want to ask you something.
Okay. Yep. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you later.